All right, it is Friday, and as you know, we always do a weekly Friday financial news wrap up with Mr. Michael Zuber. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing great, Ty. Thank you for doing this for me every week. It really allows me to get my head out of the day to day and look at, hey, what were the most important 4 or 5 things? So thank you for this.
I love it. I love it. I learned so much. I feel like I'm really in the flow, and thank you for all the research you do. Let's jump right into it. Inflation has been such a hot topic. What's going on there?
Well, it's not going to get any better anytime soon. We got the CPI number today, hotter than expected. So again, let's just set this up for folks. Last month was a record for 30 years at 6.2. The expectation was 6.7. It came in at 6.8, so hotter than expected. Not good news. And unfortunately, inflation is now really starting to impact consumer decisions. Inflation really is this thing that is a non-event if it's truly transitory, because it kind of comes and goes. It never was, as we've talked about now for weeks on end. It wasn't, and it's getting worse. But now you're seeing it impact consumers. People are driving less because gas is too expensive. People are buying different food. It's called switching or switching costs. They're not buying beef, they're buying chicken is a great example, or pork maybe. But this is start going on, and somewhere between 25% and 33% of the population now is making different decisions because inflation. And when this happens, inflation becomes sticky and it gets worse. So 6.8. The only good news is it wasn't 7, which is what people call the whisper number. But 6.8 is terrible, just terrible. It's going to get worse, I think, before it gets better. So ouch.
Explain to our audience too. What is this 6.8? What does that actually represent? What does that actual number mean?
So CPI is consumer price index. You could think of it as being things that you and I buy. And what makes this 6.8 particularly painful, unlike past CPI ratings that were hot, past CPI ratings, some things were in the calculation that were kind of noisy, i.e. used cars. Right? We all know there's a chip shortage, so used cars were more valuable. Used cars went up big. It made CPI look lumpy. Then you had airlines, right? Airlines weren't selling tickets last year. They're selling tickets this year. Airline prices. That is what led some people to use the word transitory. Now what you have in a number that is now 6.8, highest since 1982, you have food, energy, and housing, kind of the triple threat. And all of these numbers are bad, getting worse. They're all impact. It's not lumpy. It's like it smacks you in the face when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the gas station, when you pay your rent or you buy your house. It's just here, and it's not transitory. I'm sorry.
Very interesting. I want to comment on that even in my business, I haven't got the calculation, but it's interesting, like the bridge toll, where I live in the East Bay. It's very common that either myself or like my project managers, running around checking projects, they've got to cross the bridge multiple times per week. And the bridge is going up, and the toll roads now too. We've got toll roads all throughout the East Bay and the South Bay and throughout the Bay. So, and I know like those are going up from like $6 to $7, per occurrence. So very interesting times for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Evergrande. Now, there's been some news on Evergrande. You've been talking about it for the last 2 or 3 months. What's going on with Evergrande?
Well, it finally happened. It's funny that the dominoes are falling exactly like I called months ago, right? Evergrande was in trouble. Again, what happened is they are a property developer that's highly leveraged. What happened is people stopped buying apartments. That really hurts their cash flow statement. It means they can't pay their suppliers, can't pay their employees, and their debt goes bad. What happened over the last couple of months is they sold everything they could that wasn't, bolted down. They sold the jets. The owner sold some art and some other things, trying to get to the other side. It was just impossible. They're not selling any units, which means they're dead. It's just what question you put on the gravestone. Well, it happened this week. They officially missed a default payment, missed 30-day late, and now they are in default. And oh, by the way, they are not the only one. Another company called Kesha, I believe, is also in default. So the property market in China is falling apart, likely to have ripple impacts on the economy because property as a collection is about 25% of their GDP, and not a good time. So yes, Evergrande has officially defaulted, which is going to have ripple effects across the property market.
Now, how do you see just follow-up question on that. How do you see that affecting here in North America, here in the United States specifically?
Well, there's a couple of things. First and foremost, they defaulted on dollar-denominated debt, which means US debt. So it is first and foremost, what's going to happen is any new debt will be at extraordinarily high rates, if at all. So they're probably not going to get new US dollar denominated debt, which really means that dollars need to be put to work somewhere else, because they used to be feeding the China machine that was growing, growing, growing. Now they're not. Well, that money needs to find a home. So could it find home in Europe or Australia? Sure. Africa, sure. South America, sure. But some of that's going to find a home here. And right now you see more and more deep pockets buying single family homes. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to see the single family build for rent model get more money because it's not going to China. So it probably means more competition for new homes is probably the short-term answer.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So let's talk about better.com. What happened there this week?
There's a couple of things to talk about. First and foremost, better.com CEO had a PR nightmare. He fired 900 people over a Zoom call. Just badly done. I've been through a couple of recessions as a leader. That's not how you do it. But whatever. The bigger story is what we talked about 2 weeks ago is I highlighted and I told you that mortgage brokers and real estate brokers need to be careful because the great real estate slowdown is going to impact their business, right? Better.com is a mortgage broker who bet on technology. And when the interest rates went up and down and refis collapsed, they were bloated. Their model wasn't working because they had too much overhead and they needed to shrink or they would be done. So they shrunk. They just did it badly and all of this. But really what I want to talk about here is the mortgage industry. When you have 65 to 70% of the loans originated in the last 2 years and you're in a rate increase cycle, you are going to need to shrink or focus on purchases or investments. Too many mortgage brokers got fat and happy on the refi business. That party's over. The party's over. If you're still in the party with a bloated staff, you're going to be in trouble. And better.com shows us what happens when you bet on technology and it changes. You got to let some people go. So again, horrible PR nightmare, did it badly, all that stuff. But when you step back from the business, there's going to be a lot of mortgage brokers that shrink over the next 90 days.
Very interesting. So we're definitely going to see some shifts with mortgage brokers.
I think so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. So let's talk about, and I think we need to pre-frame this a little bit. Jerome Powell and Paul Volcker, who are they?
Yeah.
Right? Like just for some people, a lot of people know who Jerome Powell is, but what's going on there?
Yeah. So Jerome Powell is our current Fed president. He was just renominated by President Biden. So he's going to get, I think, 4 more years. It might be 6. I think it's whatever. He's got another term. And what happened last week is I think Jerome Powell turned into Paul Volcker. What does that mean? So Jerome Powell, for the longest time, he made full employment his number one priority. Because again, you go in this pandemic, you lose all these people. We got a problem, right? 10 million people or whatever it was unemployed. I need to focus on that. Well, the unemployment picture has gotten a lot better. The last unemployment rating came out, I think, at 4.2 or 4.4, some number that's damn near full employment. So what he's doing now is he has an inflation problem, right? So where full employment was priority 1, stable prices was 2, I think he has flipped. And why does Paul Volcker interesting reference? Because the last Fed president who focused on jobs was the one that preceded Paul Volcker. And that led to runaway inflation. Ultimately, Paul Volcker had to come in and raise rates to 18%, which caused a recession, right? But we broke the back of inflation. So right now, again, as we shared in point 1, inflation is running damn near 7% and probably getting worse. Jerome Powell needs to take his foot off the accelerator, start tapering faster, raise interest rates. And I actually think Jerome Powell needs to engineer a recession next year to break the back of inflation. I think it has to happen. So we'll see.
Wow. That's big. That's big that he has to engineer a recession in order to break inflation.
Yep.
That is big. So just a follow-up question. Where do you see interest rates, say next May, next year? Where do you see interest rates in May, June going into the summer months? And then where do you think, where would you forecast? We did this before, but where would you forecast for, say, going into the summer months, spring, late spring, summer, and then even at the end of the year for 30-year mortgage fixed debt?
Yeah, so I think the 30-year rate is pretty common at probably going to be closer to 4%, right? I think that's where we're going. And the real question is how much wage inflation we have going on. So, yeah.
Very interesting. So speaking of wage inflation, talk about unemployment. What happened this week in unemployment?
Yeah, so unemployment claims came out lowest since 1969. I think it was like 184,000. The last time it was lower was 182,000. This is lower than 19, than 18, than 17. Again, the employment market is getting better, and we should feel good about that. There were some adjustments in the number, but there's always adjustments. But yeah, we had something under 200,000, under 190,000. So record low since 1969. Pretty amazing.
I love it. I love it. So let's finish off. I know we talked about Toys for Tots the last couple of weeks. Maybe just share what we're doing. And I know Adrian and I are super excited about it. Tell the audience what's going on with Toys for Tots.
Yeah, so Toys for Tots is one of those organizations that just you feel good giving to, right? Everybody should, when you have a chance and the opportunity and your finances permit it, to give back and put smile on kids' faces. This is something my mother has done. She runs an organization, Toys for Tots, in her little community for the last 7 years. And I always give to that organization. What we're doing is we're doing a match, and we're going to do this match through next Friday. I and Adrian have agreed to match up to $2,000. So what we've already had collected because of this amazing channel is $1,100. And we're going to wait out one more week to see if we get to 2,000, because it would be great to triple up $2,000 and put some smile on kids' faces. So yeah, not everybody can do it. I get it. But hey, you give $5, it's 15. You give 15, it's 45. You give 45, it's 135. So whatever you can give would be great. And again, we're not picky. If you want to give to a local Toys for Tots, we will count it. You just have to tell us, and we're going to take your word for it. So give where it makes sense. If you want to give to my mom's, we have the link below or the link in past videos. But yeah, you and I love to get back. And when we can put a smile on kids' faces, we like to do that.
I love it. I love it. I'm very excited and proud to be a part of what you're doing, what your mom does. It's such a great opportunity. And I would encourage everybody, if even like Michael said, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can give and do it in the spirit of feeling good, sharing, contribution. Yeah. We love it. And then also Michael and Adrian and I are going to do something special for everybody that donates. Message us, send us a screenshot, let us know, because we're going to do a special call, a special coaching call just for the people that donated, where you'll have Michael one-on-one, you'll have myself, you'll have Adrian, and it's complete open door. Anything about wholesale, one rental at a time, financing, prediction, anything you want, we're going to do that. And we'll just stay on until every question is answered. So Absolutely. We're going to do a special call for those that donate. It literally donate $5 and then come and be on the call with us and interact with us on a Zoom. So
awesome.
Michael, thank you for all that you do, all your contribution. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody. Give to Toys for Tots.